Hey, where's that efficiency dude?
So did he get the goods on the running of the office? Is
I don't
he
know.
all ready?
One day I was on the air, I was having a fit that Gary don't know what he's doing, and John don't know what he's doing, and no one knows what they're doing back there, and nothing ever runs right, but...
He knows how to put this office together now?
That's what I think.
Well, he had a whole yellow pad full of notes before he left on Friday, so I guess he mulled them over.
Yeah, here he is. Your name's Rich, right? Hey, Rich, so you had a whole day and a half now to look over the running of the office, and what is your...
assessment?
Well, I've spent most of the weekend going over my notes from Friday.
Right.
I needed to come back and get into a few more things today.
Yeah.
One of them especially with you.
Yeah.
And
well, he keeps wanting to interview me. I don't want to do an interview with him.
What have you got to do with the running of the office?
I don't know. I don't run the office.
No, you don't, but you're the customer of what they do.
I'm the what?
In every process, there's suppliers and customers.
Yeah.
You're the ultimate customer.
Well, he's dissatisfied.
I'm just dissatisfied in general.
I want to.
What?
I wanted to.
He's heard me on the air 100 times talk about what I can't go into each specific thing. It's a million things.
If you prioritize them, what's the biggest one?
I don't even remember.
It's disorganization in general.
Yeah.
And that, you can never put your hands on anything. There's no follow-up, follow-through.
Yeah, things just sort of get lost in the cracks.
Even the systems we have, nobody understands. So if you need a tape, you can never get the tape because everybody doesn't understand the system.
Well,
right.
That's true. They have some trouble articulating exactly what it is they need to do.
Right. Because you ask Gary what he does, and he can't describe what he does,
well,
right?
we walked him through it a little bit, and actually by the end of Friday afternoon, we were able to get him to... We talked for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And actually got some good information out of him, I think.
Did you? All right, just do me a favor, because my audience doesn't have a lot of time for this.
Yeah, I know that.
They're in a big rush. How big a mess is my office in on a scale from 1 to 10?
4.
A 4.
A 4.
So, in other words, 4 meaning it's a pretty big mess.
4 meaning no, I've seen a lot worse.
You've seen worse.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So you're saying on a scale from 1 to 10?
a little help.
So on a scale from 1 to 10, we're a 4.
Yeah.
With 10 being the best.
10 being
the
most
worst.
Screwed up, and 1 being.
Well, I wouldn't say a 4 is all that encouraging.
A 4, but I figured we were a big mess. If people are working in greater messes than we are, so wonder anything.
That's pretty bad.
You and Robin would have the whole country believe that we're at an 11.
No, that we're at a 0. Whatever. Gary, 11 would be you were great.
No.
He just said 1 being the best, 10 being the worst.
So wait a second. You're telling me we're a 4? So we're close to perfect.
Well,
halfway.
We're on the perfect side.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying. If people are working in a worse mess than we are, Howard, nothing should be getting done in this country.
You know what? You just got bamboozled, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't taken anything at face value. I've made him show me.
Really?
Yeah, for instance, he just asked for a tape. We looked at it on the computer, and he made me go to the back, and he followed me. We got it all on camera,
right.
And I had to find the tape that he was looking for.
Yeah, but the point is, Gary had to learn that after Howard blew up.
That's right.
That's the problem.
No, Robin, it's about where we
after Howard blows up.
No, our problem is this.
It's about where we
couldn't find tapes for years, okay? So this is a primary example of how our office runs. So you don't really have the clear picture.
Yeah.
That system that you have for getting tapes that Gary's so proud of being able to do, that took years because Gary just ignored the problem and just left the tapes laying there.
Right, so that's why I want
Gary doesn't explain that to you.
I want to know well, actually, everyone said that most of these systems are new.
Yeah.
Everything's been done recently.
I absolutely explained that to him. I really did. I told him that they were there for a long time, and I didn't.
Let me ask you something. Here's what I want to know. This is what gets me pissed off.
And Gary also told me that...
Gary tells me he doesn't have time to do a lot of stuff, and yet so he gets interns to help him. But every time I go back there, the interns are just huddled around a phone, hanging out with their feet up on a desk, mellowing out. So Gary
needs some help with some organizational skills and learning how to use.
Yeah, Gary doesn't know how to improvise or how to sort of take a situation and come up with some new ideas and how to get people working. I'm always hearing about how there's not enough interns. Every time I go back there, the interns are having a party.
And that they never know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, after the show, they're all just hanging around.
Nobody said there wasn't enough interns. What we said is that every 3 months we train new interns. So it's a month before they figure out how to do it, and then they're here for 2 months and they're gone again.
But you have some interns that have been here 3 years.
Well, those guys I can't handle.
Gary admits...
Gary's a can't-do kind of guy.
He admitted he has limited organizational...
The fact that Gary can go back now and find a tape is a miracle.
Well, do you understand that the reason this guy is here is because of the day Gary couldn't find a tape?
Right.
And that system has now been up and running
Right.
for quite
I
some
can't
time.
tell you how many things happen within the day that Gary can't manage.
You realize that that system has been up and running for almost 3 years and has run without flaw except for once, but probably has been used effectively over 40 or 50
Well,
times.
who developed the system?
Kathy.
No, Howard.
Well, you thought of the idea of...
Right, because I couldn't take it anymore.
Right.
But I need a guy who can actually think of things and how to create systems.
Well, what I'm doing is putting a report together for you with a number of recommendations of
Right.
things that you can do, and most of them center around Gary's duties,
Good.
what he needs to do.
Good. All right.
Could you actually teach Gary how to problem solve?
I don't
think
about
so.
that.
No. I think either you have that ability or you don't.
But he's very receptive to suggestion, change. I mean, today we went through...
Oh, he's an empty slate.
He's
Constantly receptive.
He's practically retarded.
He said, that's great. I didn't know you could do that.
Right. I know. He just has no idea how to
You
innovate.
were only with him an hour and a half, and you heard that term.
I'm like De Niro in Awakenings. I want to learn.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Very
He
good.
wants to help, and I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. But see, I wanted to hear about the things that aren't fixed yet.
Oh, there's a million of them. There's just a million things that go wrong on a daily basis.
And I figured that
And everyone just tells me, well, we have no help. There's not enough interns. There's plenty of help, right? There's plenty of help.
And not much to do, I'll bet.
If I throw a new task in, that drives everyone nuts. Or a new way of doing stuff, it just gets them crazy.
Well, there's another thing that goes on, too. There's a constant switching of authority that
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Yes.
For a while, I hear the term, that's Kathy's job. I took that away from Gary.
Yeah, there's always arguing.
And then I hear, no, I gave that back to Gary. That's not Kathy's job anymore.
And there's a whole big problem with answering the phone. Like, no one seems to know how to answer the phone. They have to train people to answer the phone.
And the message taking.
Howard, wait a second. If you
Gary doesn't know how to answer the phone.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
If you took an
John's
intern,
job, right? It's always somebody's job.
if you took an intern off the street,
Right.
a college kid, who's
Go ahead.
willing to come here for free,
Yeah.
and you put them on the phone without any training, you would be amazed at the things that they would say.
Well, who said to put them on the phone without
What
any
are you
training?
saying? They need to be trained, and it's not that easy. Some people get it, and some people don't.
So why don't you have John do it? You told me he knows how to answer the
Because
phone.
he can't stay here till 5 or 6 o'clock every night. That's why.
But you can't have him train them how to answer the phone?
I said some people get it, and some people don't. If you get
Wait a second. Why do you have to train people to do the phone?
I don't.
Why?
I actually don't.
So why doesn't John do it?
Kathy and John do, but what I'm saying...
Is there two people to train to answer a phone?
Your complaint
See what I
was...
mean? This is what drives me nuts. Because I'll call them up and go, why didn't something get done? They'll tell me, well, we had to train people to do the phone.
My question was, why would you have an intern that isn't capable of answering the phone?
Well, we have no choice. This is who we have.
But you have a number of people to select from.
See, he's
Right.
already saying there's a number of people to select from who could do that.
I know.
But not a number
I
of people
think
to
that
be
there's
here
an
all
hour
day.
problem, that those people aren't here later in the afternoon.
Right. Why don't we do this? See, I have ideas like this, but everyone gets upset with me when I suggest them. You train one intern how to answer the phone. You videotape it. You show the guy the videotape when he comes in.
I worked over the weekend on starting this report for you, and
Yeah.
I have a section there on training, because
Right.
this turnover of interns is a real big issue.
Right. Well,
So-
of course. It's always the problem.
You know, you don't reinvent the wheel. You put some training stuff together.
Right.
You run them through it. And
There
if
you
they
go.
can't do it, you find it out. in
Gary
2 days.
acts as
They
if
can't do
no
it.
other
Yeah, I mean-
organization has to train anybody.
No one
Ever.
does. No one does.
Well, it's such a big deal, Robin. It's so easy. How come you hadn't thought of it in 11 years?
Oh, stop it, Gary. I could take care of that problem in 10
You want her to do the
seconds.
job
but
now?
yelling at people won't get him to do the work.
You want her to do the job
They know
now?
how to do it. I wouldn't have to yell.
No, but Robin and you sit here and say, I could do this, and then...
Well, listen to me. We have our job.
We can do the radio show, or we can go back
We
and
have you to
organize
run the office. Now you want us to run the office and do the radio show?
No. I'm just saying that if you have these great ideas, if an idea comes to you, right?
Gary, the problem is I'm not back there with you all day.
we're
How
a
can I
team.
come up with all these ideas?
We're a team. If you guys have an idea, why wouldn't you just tell it to me instead of waiting till the efficiency
Wrong.
expert...
Again, now hold it. Now the efficiency expert has heard you for the first time. You've got to understand your job.
I do understand.
Your job is when I call up and say do something, and you tell me I can't do it, Howard, because I got interns to train, I got this to train, I got that to train. That means something's wrong in your office. You're not able to take on new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I can't solve that problem for you. I'm not saying
And I'm not
that.
asking you to.
All right.
But if you come up with, you had that idea, if you have it and it just comes to you, why wouldn't you just tell it to me?
But he did
I just told it to you.
teach you how to train the interns.
Right, but you're saying, oh, that's an easy idea. Like you guys have known about it all along.
Well, what about Stuttering John doing it?
Don't you remember?
I'm not saying who should and shouldn't do it. I'm saying if you have an idea Why would you wait till you got on the air to tell me about it?
Excuse me,
well, what am I going to tell you about it? I just had it.
Here's the deal. You were calling into the office in the afternoon, remember?
Right.
And everybody was answering the phone in an improper fashion.
Right.
Then you brought John in and taught him how to answer the phone on the air.
Right.
Gary never noticed the problem.
No.
Right. That's
it.
Robin.
See, now do you get it?
I get it.
Okay. You might have to quit your full-time job and be here and just keep going over the office.
Meanwhile, Robin's last assistant is in Iceland.
Yeah. Got a point there. Well, can't even be reached on the phone.
Oh, but she could answer the phone when she was.
Anyway, why don't we give Rich a plug? You want a plug? You don't want it?
No.
You just did it as a favor to us.
I just did it as a favor to you.
Are you going to type out a report for me?
I sure am.
Very good. Very good. Excellent, Rich. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
There's
So you
Rich.
now see the whole problem.
I'd just like to be the official management consultant of the Howard Stern.
Thank you. Please leave your number so I can call you whenever there's a crisis, which will be every 10 minutes.
Yeah, keep your phone on.
And one area I have not been able to delve into is Fred's carts.
Oh, yeah. Fred's tapes.
That's a mystery.
Fred's personal.
And Fred won't talk to you?
Well, we spoke. We spoke, right?
And what happened when you lost your hair, didn't you, when you spoke to Fred, didn't you? What happened, Gary, when Fred was consulted?
I only heard a little bit of it, but Fred was explaining how, I guess the words he said were like, it's his personal hell, was one of the things I heard him say. And then he said something like, this was put on me, but I'm not sure that I'm supposed to be in charge of it. Something to that effect.
It's just
what do you want to be in charge of, Fred?
I thought I heard Fred saying that it was like sort of thrust upon him.
I see.
Being,
kind of a joke situation.
Right.
So
well,
Fred,
the guy's trying to really solve a problem, Fred. Don't joke around.
I know that, but I think I answered his questions.
Yes,
and
you did.
I also asked him at the end, I said, was I very clear?
You were.
And
Fred is
I was.
responsible for a lot of the sound effects in the tapes, and since he is the one who plays them, he should know where they are.
And I pretty much do.
And as long as he does,
but no one else knows where they are.
I tried to figure it out.
So what happened? You asked Fred about it, and he wouldn't really.
Well, he kind of told me that he knew where it was and pointed to things.
I pointed to things to set it out.
Is there a rational?
No.
Oh, okay.
If it works.
Does Fred have to carry 4,000 tapes in here 2 ways every day?
It works for Fred.
It works for Fred, and you know what? You don't even want to. You don't want to get involved.
See? There you go.
There you go.
There's also a section in the report on Ralph.
Oh, is there? And what did that? And what happened there?
He seems to be an issue in every interview.
Right.
I didn't mention Ralph, did I?
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Everyone
is upset with Ralph.
Well, they're just trying to figure out. He shouldn't be involved in any of these processes.
Right. Ralph is a hairdresser. Why is he involved with all these people?
I tried to understand why everyone kept bringing him up when he's got nothing to do with anything.
Believe me, I can't imagine why either. I can't.
I couldn't either. So
the guy's a hairdresser. So what is the issue?
Why does his name come up?
The issue is that he's here?
I guess.
And what is he doing wrong?
Access to the studio. And
I see. Now, so do we solve that?
He carries an implied authority that he speaks for you. So if he comes in and asks
when did he get that?
It's just implied.
No, Gary gets that because Gary's bamboozled by everyone.
If he asks, if he asks for something, the implication is he's asking for you, so stop what you're doing.
Well, I don't know who gave him that implication. Who gave that implication that he speaks for me? That's Ralph.
You've never said that. In fact, you've told Gary he's in charge.
I've told Gary 900 times Ralph does not speak for me.
All you have to do is listen to this radio show to know that.
Yeah, no one even likes Ralph.
You know, Ralph and I had that big argument off the air on Friday, which was luckily captured on videotape.
Really?
Yeah. And the big argument we were having.
Yeah.
And I spoke to Ralph after the show, and I said,
what was the argument? What was the
argument was that Ralph is supposed to ask me whether he can come in here to talk on the air, which he did this morning.
Good.
He had something good to add, but he wasn't doing it for a while. He said to me, I feel like I'm doing it, but what was going on, there'd be a lot of times where I was in here, and since he couldn't ask me, he would just come in. And I would say that unless you really feel so strongly, you should just not come in then if you don't have someone to ask.
Right. Or he can ask John, and John can slip you a note.
Okay.
See?
Because Ralph will just begin to feel strongly all the time.
So why is that a problem?
It was a problem to them. They articulated it to me when I asked the question.
I see.
I just put it
now, is there anybody, in your opinion, that I should have to unload as dead wood?
No.
Oh, you're being nice.
It was a slow no.
Want to talk privately about it?
No, really. It's not a matter of unload. You have a lot of people here who do repetitive work. A lot of people do the same thing over and over.
Right.
Let me ask you something, because there's a lot of personality conflicts back there, too. Did that come across?
No, I didn't catch too much of that, Robin. Actually,
everybody's on their best behavior. I know which one Robin. She's talking about the gorilla stuttering John personality conflict.
Them yelling at each other?
Yeah, I mean, there were meetings meetings every 2 weeks.
I guess everyone's running their best behavior.
Yeah, well,
John's sick today, and he came, not really sick.
Because I was going to be here.
He's getting over a cold, but he came in, he didn't want to miss it.
Oh, really?
He didn't want anybody giving interviews, without him around.
Oh, boy.
John's got ambitions.
Yeah, right. He's really ambitious, that boy. All right, very good, Rich. Thank you so much for helping us out, and that is our efficiency expert, Rich. And what he's basically saying is that it's a 4 because everything that he saw was running smoothly, except he's not seeing what doesn't run smoothly. Thank you, Rich. No wonder Gary was beaming. Hey, let's get him in. Let's get him.
Because he got a 4.
Yeah, because he was able to find the tape.
I got a 4.
Oh, boy. It's hopeless.
I don't even think you know some of the crazy stuff that goes on back there.
Why don't you tell the efficiency expert, Robin?
People quitting every 2 weeks.
Who is quitting?
Gorilla has quit a number of times.
So why doesn't he leave?
They talk him back in.
Oh, they do? Gorilla, is it true that you quit every 2 weeks?
I quit. Never heard that.
I never even heard that.
That's why I said there are the personality conflicts coming through there, because I think what they do, because they have nothing to do, is fight with each other.
Did you quit every 2 weeks?
No, I at one time just thought it would be best if I just took off.
What happened?
It was just getting kind of hectic in the back. It was just like, I guess there was some things between me and John that just, at that one point, couldn't be settled.
Well, tell me what. Like what?
He'd just get on my case constantly.
About John? How could he get on your case? He doesn't even...
I guess it's the way he plays around, and I guess after, 3 years of badgering, I just sort of
He's going to badger you?
He can't...
Gorilla pulled me aside one morning, and I think he told me that he was having stomach ulcers or something like that. But basically, what happens is
from answering the phone and getting free food.
What happens is John has a tendency. John likes to.
Is this the same Gorilla who has to just get food? Basically, that's his whole job, is getting us food.
Yeah.
He's having pressure on the job? This is unbelievable.
You know what? Since John and Gorilla come to me often, we can get this out in the air. I'd love to know the answer to this right now. The big argument is John has been here for 6 years.
Right.
John feels he is the chief whatever.
No. He's not the chief. No one appointed him chief.
In other words, he feels he holds rank over Gorilla.
No.
And he doesn't like the fact that we say John and Gorilla. John thinks he should be in charge and he should be able to delegate things to Gorilla.
I'm going to change that.
And he says, when he tells Steve to do stuff, if I tell Steve, would you go and do this, Steve does it. If John tells him, he says that Steve gives him a dirty look and, blows him off.
All right, here's the pecking order now. Okay. I'm going to read it to you now. All right, you ready? Yeah. Kathy.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Gorilla.
Yes.
John. Okay? That's it. Gorilla is in charge of John, and John will do whatever Gorilla says.
You know how to solve a problem.
What? Now it's solved. That's the end of it.
Now John's quitting in 2 weeks.
Good. Tell him goodbye and tell him to collect his severance, even though he doesn't make any money.
He does. He actually gets paid now.
Does he? Good. Now tell me he just gave that up. Gorilla, you are in charge of John.
But that's where
John, Gorilla is your boss.
If I would have threatened to quit, then you probably would have done the same thing anyway.
Gorilla is your boss.
I don't really care. Because you know what? I've learned how to deal with it. I've learned how to deal with it.
Good. Gorilla, if Gary tells you to do something and you're a little overwhelmed, you can assign it to John.
You want to put him as my boss?
Yes.
That's fine.
However you
Okay, I guess you're not going to... Follow me.
Gorilla, then you.
You got it.
All right.
You got it.
Gorilla, tell him to go get your water if you're thirsty. You thirsty?
Because these guys...
John, you are not in charge of Gorilla.
No, Howard, you know what? This is ridiculous, but you want to be on the air or you want to be serious?
I want to be on the air and serious.
Okay, well, the point is Gary will attest to me. If you're going to go on who you want to be in charge when Gary's not around, you want Gorilla? Fine.
Yes.
That's your prerogative.
That's what I want.
But I feel if you want the show to run better...
I don't even know why one of you has to be in charge.
Because, Howard, this is the point. Gary's in here half the show a lot of times.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So someone has to run the office. Someone has to run the office back there.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of things that I just feel that I can handle a little bit better than Gorilla. And that's how it goes. I've been here longer. I know who to put through on the air. And if you want to have the stuff go on the air...
listen...
Ask,
excuse me.
Wait. I'm not done yet.
Your job is...
Ask our efficiency expert, Howard.
Is your job to listen to the phone calls and decide which phone calls should be put through? So why can't you do that and still answer to Gorilla?
Because while I'm doing that, I might say, Gorilla... Howard, Gary needs you to do something or whatever. Go photocopy this, and he'll give me a dirty look. So now I got
the only problem that I ever had with John was somebody can go, Gary, could you go do this for me, man? Thanks. John will go do this.
Is that right?
And that's the problem I had.
Well, now you're his boss, so he has to treat you nice.
That's not true, though.
One of the first days...
We can wrap this up really quickly. We've had this big discussion about you guys and the personality conflict. John came to me 2 days ago and said that he goes, how do I handle this? He asked Gorilla to do something, and Gorilla refused to do it. What was that, John?
Oh, I don't remember now. It was a couple things. Now I've learned.
This is a simple thing. You ready for this? Throwing a box away.
Yeah. Gary said I was the only one. I was doing mail and answering the phones. Gorilla he was just sitting there. I said, Gorilla, do me a favor, throw that away. Gary wanted it away. He looked at me, gave me a look, didn't do it. Half an hour later, let me finish. Half an hour later, Gary comes up. What are you guys, brain dead? I asked you to throw this freaking thing away. I said, I didn't say anything. I said, okay. Then I pulled Gary aside in private.
Gary, why couldn't you throw it away?
Because I was working on the show.
Oh, and why couldn't you ask Gorilla directly to throw it away?
Gorilla wasn't around at the time. In other words, if whoever's in the office, John was there.
No, you are putting John in the weird position of being Gorilla's boss.
But no, John or Gorilla, because I said...
No, you have to look at which guy is doing what, and then you have to ask them to throw it away. If you see John busy, you get Gorilla to do it.
Okay, but if I'm not around and I say, John, I need this thrown away, and I'm running in and out of the studio, why should something sit there for an hour and a half?
Because John can't tell Gorilla what to do.
Well, that's the whole problem, and that's what the whole problem is back there. Is that some days I'm allowed to tell him what to do, some days I'm not. So me and Gorilla get into this problem because Gary doesn't want anything to do with it. Gary just kind of washes his hands of it.
So, no, Gary, you are the manager. You have to be involved in these decisions.
I was involved with it for a long time, but I got sick of hearing these guys argue and yell with each other.
There's nothing to argue about.
So I sat them both down and I said,
listen to what's going on. Where is the efficiency expert?
I sat them both
Where is the efficiency expert? Is he listening to this? Come in here. This is why I can't get anything done. Now, you're scribbling away. Solve this. What is the problem? Would you solve it?
I don't have enough.
You just run out of paper. Go ahead. Tell me, Rich, what to do here with this.
Discussions that no one has.
I think it comes to me about what...
You are to interview Robin in the show today. Robin, make yourself available, please. Oh, great. Yeah.
You know why, Robin? Because I have a new tact now.
What is your tact?
Now I don't get into it with a Gorilla. If I have a problem, I just
Why don't you give the box to Richard, the efficiency expert, and let him throw it away? That would solve everything. Can you be available?
Not at my rate.
All right, do me a favor. Tell me what is going on here. Now, don't you think
it's a roles and responsibility and authority issue here?
Now, don't you think it was Gary's responsibility to sit there and work out who does what?
That's part of his job. That's his job
as the manager.
Yes. How many managers do I need?
At every available turn.
But throwing out a box.
Wait a second. You tell me to delegate, right?
Yes.
At every available. So I should go to even something as simple as throwing away a piece of garbage.
That's
has to be assigned directly to a person.
If you are going to assign it to John, you've got to make it clear to Gorilla that he has to do everything John says.
Howard, can I bet things?
Have you ever told Gorilla that?
If you will let me, I will.
Why wouldn't I let you?
Okay.
What do you mean would I let you?
John's in charge.
Wait, I want to back up now a second. All the years you're working with these two guys, you've never clearly drawn the lines of delegation?
I've discussed with Steve that if John asks him to do stuff, I say, listen, we're a team.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Nobody's in charge.
Wrong. You're not a team.
We are a team.
No, you're not. You are the boss. If you want to make John the second in command, then do it. I just appointed Gorilla because you refused to appoint someone.
I've always said to the guy, I said, we should always help each other out. If somebody needs something done, it shouldn't be, this is your job, this is my job.
You see what my problem is in life? Yeah. I got a guy.
Gary trying to be popular.
Well, and John's perception is that he is second in command.
Right. And Gorilla has never been told that.
But Howard, that's what I've been told, through Gary. But
someone's got to tell Gorilla.
Yeah, but no one told Gorilla, so I don't blame him for.
And if you're going to be second in command, you got to treat Gorilla nicely.
No, I haven't. Now I just asked you nicely.
He's gotten a lot better, but in the past that was the problem.
You've got to learn diplomacy.
I agree. So now I just ask him nicely. I don't even yell at him if he doesn't do it, because this is Howard. This is another big problem in the office, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Gary.
Wait a minute. Didn't you get interviewed by the efficiency expert?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell these things?
Because I don't want to rat out a Gary.
No, actually,
you guys you were not honest with Rich.
He didn't ask us about it, and you know what?
No.
You guys know what you're talking about. If he says what's your problem, if he asks you a problem, you got to tell him the problem.
I'm going to be honest with you right now. It's very simple. The answer to this is very simple.
Of course it's simple. Monday and Wednesday, Gorilla bosses John. Tuesday and Thursday, John bosses Gorilla. Friday, Ganji wears a tie and runs the office.
And I'll tell you what.
And that's going to be my system from now on.
Howard, here it is right here. You ready? Here it is right here. And this should never have come up to be an issue in the first place. John is a paid employee of Infinity Broadcasting.
No.
Steve is not. He was a lot of help to us.
John is paid because he goes out and does interviews.
Well, not
as far as running the office goes, excuse me.
Yeah.
As far as running the office goes, Gary, you're in charge of who is in the pecking order.
Okay, Howard, and let me just say two things. Okay.
Oh boy.
One is, that's something obviously. I don't want to get into that yet. Let me just say one thing.
He's like one of those lawyers in the OJ.
No, Howard.
Right.
The first thing. This is a small problem that happens in the office where I get into a fight with Grillo.
My office is a bigger mess than my movie. The movie is more organized than what you are talking
I blame this on Gary, too.
Okay, go ahead.
He might like this.
Go ahead.
Gary always comes up to me and says, "Where's Gorilla?" And I say, "I don't know." Gary says,
I'm not my Gorilla's keeper.
Gary says, "Well, Gorilla's, you're supposed to know where Gorilla is at all times." This is what happens. I say, "Gorilla, you got to tell me when you leave." So what happens, Gorilla doesn't tell me it, and he just goes out and no one can find him. So then I'm in the position now, I got to yell at Gorilla, because if I don't yell at Gorilla, Gary's going to yell at me.
Rich,
so
I have talked
I'm the monkey in the middle.
You absolutely are a monkey. I don't know about being in the middle, though. Yeah. Let me say something, Rich. I have explained this away clearly to my boy Bahahuhi a million times how to settle problems like this. Would you now tell them how to solve this problem?
Well, when I interviewed Gary to start off, and I asked him what his duties were, the first two things...
I would like to hear a tape of that.
The first two things he told me were...
I don't know.
intern management and staff management.
Right.
That's two different things, because people get paid or don't get paid.
Right.
And that's his responsibility. So that's his responsibility.
Like, who cares who gets paid? It's
your staff.
It's your staff.
That's the people that have to do that.
I always say they don't get paid. Well, if they don't get paid, so still you can make something. You give somebody a bone and let them be a manager.
And if we have a communications problem and a lack of definition of roles and responsibilities, that falls on Gary. Because his task to manage.
Right.
So... one of the general comments is in the report.
How can you tell me we're a 4? They can't throw out a box around here. You're at a 4.
That's
you
relative.
got to tell me something.
Relative.
Yeah, right.
One of the things in the report
Are we moving up toward 10 now?
You can't just verbalize these things and change them 2 weeks later. He needs to have a clear definition of what people do. It's kind of informal back there, but as soon as something hits the fan...
It's very informal. Everyone back there thinks they're a star.
So the next thing you know, Gorilla's stomach is bleeding.
Right. So, in other words, what you're saying
actually, in
is...
these 2 days, one day Gorilla was getting his head shaved.
Right.
For the day.
All right. Okay, so there you go. He was a star that day.
And today, John was sick, so he wasn't saying much. But he pretty much has his tasks back there, grabbing the phones.
So, in other words, are you saying that Gary has to appoint someone in charge and make it clear to the other people that he is in charge? And that person, if they're rude, will be fired?
He not only needs to... Gary not only needs to tell the person, he needs to tell the whole staff whose job it is to do what.
All right. Thank you. Now, go back with these 3 nitwits and teach them a lesson. Thank you. Rich, your job is not done.
We're having a staff meeting after the show.
Oh, God.
Excellent. Oh.
Staff meeting after the show. John, Gorilla, and myself. Rich in the back. We're having a big staff
In front
meeting.
of Rich, I'm going to ask Gary, Stuttering John, and Gorilla to repeat after me.
Uh-oh.
We will work hard.
We will work hard.
Even though we have no idea what we're doing.
We have no idea what we're doing.
We will not argue with each other.
We will not argue with each other.
Though we know the other 2 guys are a-holes.
Though we know the other 2 guys are a-holes.
We will save up.
We will save up
to buy a brain.
To buy a brain.
All right, thank you, Rich. Please take them back there. Whatever you could say to them, I would appreciate. All right. I must take a break, Robin. And when
I'm glad we cleared the air.
Yeah,
but it's still not cleared.
Oh, shut up. You're going to a staff meeting.
Of course it's not clear. Now we're going to get it cleared up, supposedly.
We're clearing it up at the staff meeting.
Of course. Of course. Just like, Rich, please, whatever you can do. Whatever you can do. Let them be honest with you.
Bless you.
Yeah. I should be an efficiency expert.
Whew.
Rich is going to convince you.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to be back right after these words, and we must do the news.
Yeah.
I need more time to think.